And Lucas, today we are going to talk about why most investors won't hit their goals in 2026 and 5 things that winners do differently.
We got a little Christmas special for y'all.
And a little Christmas special for y'all. So stay tuned. This is going to be a good one. Let's do it. All right, Lucas, kicks off.
Yeah, so talking about 2026, I think we've hit this, it's kind of pretty, hit this a lot over the past month, but it's on our minds a ton, right? When we're planning for next year, obviously we want to end this year strong, but plan for next year. So we go through a lot of vision planning sessions with our students and people in our Board of Freedom and stuff like that. And we'll see the difference between the people who are going to execute and hit the goals and the people who won't. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, we will help those people hit their goals, obviously, but there's a big difference between the two. And so we're going to dig into what those differences are and what winners do that your normal investors don't do, Sam.
I like it. So
5 things.
What's pillar number 1 or thing number 1?
Yeah, so the first thing that winners do differently is they have an actual long-term vision and strategy for themselves. Like if you're like, I want a ton of rentals, and you just go out willy-nilly and just buy a whole bunch, that's not going to get you there. You got to figure out your goals for, I would say, start at 5 years. This is what we do. We start at 5 years, work our way back to 3, and then work our way back to 1. And you have your 1-year goals, and every decision that you make on a daily basis should align with hitting your 1-year goals.
And have the discipline to actually see those things through, which not everybody has. I think, can I use each of these? Can I just use corny sayings for each of them?
Please.
Like wealthy people think in decades and poor people think in days. You got to think long term.
Yeah.
And where motivation ends, discipline begins. Most people just have motivation, and that's dependent on your mood.
Yeah.
Like, I feel motivated today, so I'm going to do it. But discipline, no matter how the fuck you feel, you're doing it. So obviously they're stereotypical things, but they're true. So anyways, those are the 2 I thought of for this one is,
I love that.
You got to have the vision. Like, we met with some badass people that have some badass businesses, and their minds were blown when we come up with a 5-year vision, a 3-year outlook, and a 1-year plan, and then we work weekly to get to that 1-year plan that feeds into that 3-year, that feeds into that 5-year. Like incredible, smart business people, you just got to put it on paper. I want to grow, but you got to do more than that.
You got to figure out what type of business or what type of portfolio you want. Do you want this to be a full-time thing and you love it so much that you want to work 50 hours a week? Or do you want to be a lifestyle business, and you got to set your business up accordingly based on what you want?
100%. So knowing what you want and setting up a plan to go do that, it doesn't guarantee that you will get there, but man, you got a lot bigger chance of actually accomplishing that than just hoping.
Yeah.
Hope is not. That's the theme for Freedom in 26. Hope is not a plan.
Hope is not a plan. I like that. You got a lot of good corny sayings.
Hoping, though, that's our plan for hoping that people show up to a webinar, hoping that they book a call, hoping that this marketing works. Hope is not a plan.
Yeah, hope is not a plan. I love that.
I don't know if I have very many for the other ones, but I nailed the first one.
We'll see. Love it. Let's go on to thing number 2 that winners do differently. Crystal clear capital strategy. And this is one of the main things we put together for our Board of Freedom members. So when we think of capital, there's 2 types of capital. When you're building a rental portfolio or running a fix and flip operation, you need short-term money, and that is the most expensive money. And when we look at short-term money, say you want to do 12 deals in 2026, Sam. If you want to do 12, let's say fix and flips, want to do 12 fix and flips in 2026, that means at any given time during the year, you'll probably have 3 to 4 houses that you own and are working on.
Correct. Some will be at the beginning stages, some will be at the end stages, but you'll own them and have capital out for them.
Yeah, because those projects are going to take at least 90 to 120 days, at least, from the time you purchase it, from the time you sell it, with a rehab in between.
Correct.
So you own 4 houses at a time. And let's say those houses are worth, not worth, let's say you're spending $300,000 on each house with acquisitions and construction costs. That's $1.2 million. So you'll have $1.2 million out at any given time.
Yep.
Number one, you have to have the mindset to get comfortable with that. If you don't have that out at any given time, you're not going to hit your goal of 12.
Correct.
Period. And you got to figure out where you're going to go get that as well. And, it's a combination of banks, financial institutions like FasterFreedom Capital, private lenders, and understand exactly how you're going to get up to that 1.2 million.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't think of it that way, but you have to have the appetite and ability to raise lots of short-term funding. And again, FasterFreedom Capital is the solution. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
There you go.
I snuck one in.
Snuck one in, yeah. And on the long-term side,
Yep.
Just as important, I would say, these days, because if you don't have the right long-term financing for your rentals, this is if you're doing rentals, then you're not going to cash flow right now. And it's going to be very hard to build a rental portfolio when you're bleeding cash because you're paying too much on your monthly debt payment.
Yeah, the one way you can cash flow that a lot of people, I don't want to say don't know about, but don't fully utilize, is that long-term, cheaper DSCR type of debt. Yes, it's really hard to cash flow at 7.25 from a small local bank over 25 years. It's still hard, but not near as freaking hard to cash flow at 6% over 30 years with a DSCR loan. So getting cheaper debt makes a big difference on basically whether you end up closing on the refinance or not, and selling it or not even buying it. So having that long-term debt backed up at the end is very, very important.
Yep, and match that long-term debt with your long-term vision. So if you want to have, your goal is to have 20 paid off rentals in 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, probably going an interest-only loan is not a great idea to help cash flow now, but you're not having any principal pay down.
Yep.
And most people aren't disciplined enough to take extra cash flow and put it down on the principal payment, which is fine. We're not either.
Yeah.
So, but if you're wanting to build and build and build like we are, interest only is fine for us because we're going to own these houses for 20 plus years, and then we'll figure out what to do with that equity in the long term. We're not necessarily trying to pay them all off right now.
Yeah, well, cash flow is more important right now when it's a little bit tighter and
Yeah.
we're growing, and we just would rather have the cash now, and we'll hopefully have more later when it picks up.
All right. Thing number 3 that winners get in place, Sam, to hit their goals in 2026.
Consistent, repeatable deal flow. If you ain't got a deal, you ain't got shit.
Your analogies are, what are these, little like sayings?
Yeah.
Like cheesy slogans? I don't know.
The first ones were good.
Yeah, if you ain't got a deal, you ain't got shit.
Is it true?
Put it on your story.
Is it true though?
Put it on your story.
I will.
Yeah.
Is it true?
That's true.
Okay, you can have all the money lined up in the world, but if you don't have a deal to deploy that money into, you ain't got.
You could have the vision.
Yeah.
You could have the money. But if you're not getting consistent lead flow and a good enough sample of properties to choose the right deals,
You ain't got.
shit.
See, you laughed at, but it's probably the most applicable one.
Yeah, maybe. So what are some ways to get some of the, number one, look at your long-term vision. Let's talk about the year, Sam.
Okay.
So, this person who wants to buy 12 houses next year, we know they need 1.2 million in short-term money. To get 12 houses purchased, you need about 10 leads per house, give or take. So to buy one house a month to get to 12, you need 10 leads a month. So probably 2 or 3 a week you need.
So you need 120, you need 100 to 150 leads a year.
Yep.
So you need to come up with different lead flow funnels to get that. It could be paid advertising, direct marketing, direct mail, cold calling, paid ads online. It could be networking with wholesalers and agents, but you need to track and have consistent lead flow, because what you track,
Improves.
boom.
Nice. Great job, dude. Pin drop. All right. Number 4, Samuel.
Operational excellence, the unsexy advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
This is for you engineer nerds.
Yeah, so number 1, if you ain't got a deal, you ain't got shit. So
Boom!
It doesn't matter how operationally sound you are if you ain't got a deal. So to me, deals are more important than operational excellence. But after you get some deals, once you get deal flow going, you'll have the opportunity to improve your operations and get efficient with your money, your project management, your property management. All that stuff will save you a lot of money in the long term. One particular deal, say your budget, your rehab budget, say your rehab budget goes 10K over, right?
Your rehab budget goes 10K over.
There you go. And then let's say, property management screws up and can't place a tenant for 4 months or something, or the house wasn't ready, you didn't rehab it the right way. Now they have all this maintenance requests. That could be 20 grand right there on one deal that you're missing out on because your systems and operations aren't tight.
The difference between amateurs and professionals are systems. That was a good one.
There you go. Or winners in 2026 versus losers.
The new perfect is done.
New perfect is done. Yep.
Frank Cabo.
Done and move on.
All right. I like how we're calling them things. Thing number 5, intelligent leverage and risk management.
Yeah, management. I would say, to me, a lot of this is a mindset. So every decision that you make will have a level
Of risk, yeah.
level of risk associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
So as a person, your ability to analyze that risk, manage that risk, and be able to have the mindset to take it on because you know there's good things on the other side of it is going to be very important.
The more risk and stress you can handle,
Just stop.
the wealthier you'll become.
There you go.
Debt is like fire. It can burn you or it can create life and heat and sources. So debt in itself is not bad. It depends on what you do with it that makes it good or bad. You can be an arsonist or you can be a cook.
Yep.
How do you use debt and fire?
So the winners, here's a good saying right
Not
here.
as
The
good as
winners
mine.
don't avoid leverage, they respect it. So they know what debt can do for their life and how it can build a beautiful rental portfolio, but they understand if you misuse it, it could burn you.
Like fire.
Like fire. Did you say something about fire?
I almost threw this chair through that $25,000 screen, but I didn't.
Yep. As you're building a rental portfolio or running a fix and flip operation, having reserves is important as well. Cash reserves is always important. If you go over on a rehab budget, if you screw up, when you go over on a rehab budget, if you screw up on a refinance or whatever and need to put $8,000 into a deal, having that cash reserve is very important, which shows the importance of having active income one way or another. Whatever your active income is, whether it's a W-2 job, whether it's wholesaling, or it's fix and flip, that is number one to get right before you go into building a rental portfolio.
I like it. The thing is, you need all 5 of these things, and you need to have the discipline to see them through. It'll be bumpy and it'll be, hairy, bumpy, hairy path, but you just gotta
Really sexy.
You gotta just
Bumpy and hairy.
Some people are into that.
Not me.
Have you met Danny?
Is he bumpy?
Kind of.
Okay.
And hairy.
He is pretty sexy.
Yeah, there you go. So it's all about having this all mixed and mashed together. I feel like this is the best analogy yet. I know that this sounds simple because it is simple, but it's not easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. These 5 talking points, yeah, they do sound pretty simple, and some of you may be like, well, duh, but man, they're not easy to do. So you just got to get them. You're going to come up with one that's not going to be good. Ready? 3, 2, 1, not good. Saying go.
Not a saying, but can we talk about the Chinese zodiac just a little bit?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yes. So, Western civilization. Our zodiac signs go by like the month, I think, right? I'm not like super into astrology or anything like that, but I think it's like by the month, right?
Okay.
And then, the Chinese zodiac is by the year, and it was developed like thousands of years ago, and is based on farmers and them recognizing patterns throughout the years, and they ended up giving a name to that year. And the name is an animal, and each animal is associated with whatever
How many
happened.
animals are we
during
talking
that.
here?
12 animals, so it's a 12-year cycle.
Okay.
Okay. So 2025 was the year of the snake, Sam. So when I look at business and how that's related, or your investing career, 2025 was a year that made a lot of people get better fast and made them stop doing what's not working, shedding of the skin,
Gosh.
and then setting themselves up for next year. So
To strike.
So it was a year of not big paper wins, not a lot of big wins on paper, but setting the foundation for 2026.
Now, is this just, you think this is, because some people crushed 2025, so do we think this is just overall, A lot of people, the people
Yeah, I
shed.
would say
okay.
overall.
Okay.
Do you not feel like that
No,
overall?
no. For us,
Yeah.
my issue with some of these things is you can relate to any of them.
sure.
I'm a Scorpio, like, well, that means this, that, and like, yeah, I want to be that. So yeah, I will say that. So I'm not even honestly disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
I think there's some validity to a lot of this stuff to
Yeah.
a certain degree. But again, my not issue with it, but my thought is some people 2025 was the best year they've ever had.
Yeah.
By like I'm not even saying in our industry, in any industry. But you're just saying.
And then maybe 2026 is even better.
Or it could be worse. It will be worse for some people. But
Yeah.
in general, you're saying the
Yeah.
majority of people kind of was a shedding year.
Yeah,
I'm with it. I'm just asking.
Yeah, and I feel like, it kind of reminds me of like the market, whatever market we're talking about let's talk about the real estate market. Like if you're trying to force growth in a non-growth year in the real estate market, it's really hard.
Yes.
And it feels hard. Right? But when you
what she
do it
said.
and you're in alignment with what the market or the universe, whatever, gives you, it just compounds and explodes. And that's what 2026 is. It's the year of the horse.
What do horses do?
You know what they call it, Sam? They call it big horse energy.
Woohoo!
Big horse energy. So 2026, year of the horse, is all about action taking and compounding momentum.
We take action every fucking year, Lucas.
And all of your foundation that you put in place for 2025 starting to see the wins on paper for 2026. So you think we can relate to that? Would you like to relate to that?
Yes, I would like to,
Let's do
Lucas.
that.
Okay, let's do it. Cool. All right, thanks for listening and watching. Share with a friend. Have a Merry Christmas, and let's get this thing moving a little bit in 26. Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
All right, see you, everybody.